All right. Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Joel Sangerman. We're all here. I got YouTube on, so we got the volume problem. Hold on. How do I shut that down? Well, wait a second. Why am I getting double sound? Oh, I see, because I'm on the YouTube. Okay, let me cut the YouTube down. Now we should be in business. I think, yeah, that volume or that sound should be better now. So I'm not always the most proficient with the technology. I appreciate y'all working through it with me. But anyway, Joel Sangerman here with the Terms Daddy Real Estate Investor live seller calls family. And if you're not already with the family, and maybe you're on YouTube, I wouldn't mind if y'all go over to that YouTube channel. If you do go over to the YouTube channel, I'm going to need you to hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button down there. Go ahead, hit that thing. No, seriously, do it. Hit that subscribe button. This link for YouTube, the stream works way better, and it kind of goes out into the ether. Also, more importantly, I can interact with you better on YouTube. Facebook has all these privacy issues, and they won't show your name on StreamYard unless I go all the way back into Facebook and then see who it is that's commented. Whereas on YouTube, I can see exactly who's commenting, put it up in the on the stage, so to speak, here, and then address any questions that you may have. Did I just lose y'all? Oh, that was weird. Anyway, I don't know if you heard that right there, but I think we are good. So let me clear my throat. All right, let me put the slides up from where we were yesterday. I'm not yesterday, last week. And let me put those into the stage here. Okay, so here's where we left off. All right. Look, I'm going to flow in an order here. There's actually going to be an order to this. The folks who are in my one-on-one elite, the people who have actually invested in themselves to get coaching, mentoring, so they can accelerate their pathway to success, are getting a very granular, detailed look at all the different nuances to the things that I'm going to be talking about in here. However, for those of you who are on these, free live streams, kind of, getting to feel things out and whatnot, that's totally cool. Coming to the Facebook group, you're going to get a wealth of information. You're going to get more free information in here than courses that cost thousands of dollars, and some support along the way as well. If you make comments in there, I'll come in and answer the comments and all. But last week we covered a whole spectrum of deal types that puts us in a position to do what? It puts us in a position to literally transact with any seller on any house in any market without using any of our own money or any of our own credit, because there is nothing that a seller can possibly do with that house that isn't something that we can service. So 100% of the total addressable market is available to us to transact and profit on when you follow this system, because it's very robust, very comprehensive. Now, does that mean you're going to get 100% of the deals? Hell no. You're not going to even come close to 100% of the deals. You're not even going to get 30% of the deals. It's not even like the baseball analogy, right? Where if you hit 300, you go to the Hall of Fame. But you're going to have a much better batting average when you can satisfy every single seller situation. And you're going to also be way more relaxed on the phone. You're going to be allowed to be this, to allow your true character, which hopefully is good, your integrity, your genuineness, your authenticity, transparency, to come out in full flavor. Why? Because you're agnostic as to what they choose. Whatever they choose to do, you can make money on it. So all I got to do is be consultative in my approach. Well, how can I be consultative in my approach? Well, you got to get the skills to where you have the expertise, the competencies, so that you can consult someone properly on what they may be willing to do with their property. I just want to make sure I have, yeah, see. Oh, no, I do. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I have the right microphone on here because I had to hire a lip reader for one of these streams that we did a few weeks ago, right? It was brilliant too, but nobody could hear a thing. And nobody wants to watch a Zoom with captions unless they had to, right? So look, what I'm trying to communicate to you here is you don't have to go buy low, sell high. That's not the only way that you make money in real estate. There's lots of ways to make money in real estate where you could even pay more than the house is worth. How does that work? Well, we're going to get into that. The point is this: real estate is usually the biggest asset that a seller has, right? They're going to be reasonably concerned about who they're dealing with in the transaction of that real estate. So you can't just be a silver-tongued devil. You can't just know what to say. You've also got to have character, integrity, genuineness, authenticity, tell it like it is, be transparent with folks. Now, I can never teach that, obviously. Well, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, I am that, but yeah. And y'all should be too. You're going to be way better if you just tell it like it is. So tell it like it is to folks. But if you are of that nature, the world is your oyster, because now all you have to do is learn rote skills. You just have to learn the competencies. You just have to learn the skill sets. Because the marriage of character and competency in a relationship or rapport building situation with a seller is a 1-2 punch. It goes together like hot fudge and vanilla ice cream. Like ebony and ivory, right? Remember that song? And if you can communicate that, because you're agnostic as to what they do, you're not jamming a 50% offer down their throat. Oh, your house's roof is effed up and the yard is all grown up and I got to do this and the house sucks and it never sell for any more than that. You're out of your skull and you're battling. You'll get deals, right? Because you could get deals through force. You could hammer some deals home, right? I used to do that back in the day until I learned to be like water, to be like Bruce Lee. I don't have my Bruce Lee shirt on. I got my Ken Griffey Jr. shirt on, the kid, right? But Bruce Lee said, be like water. That's what we got to be like. We're going to flow with what the seller wants, and we can plug them into the right slot wherever they fit. We're like the Amazon.com of real estate because we can satisfy any situation that a seller has and still profit on it. And if you want to learn how in a very general way, well, keep coming to the free stuff. If you want to actually learn how to do this and actually get it done and be handheld through the nuances of every single deal type that comes up, I know a guy. He's not very good looking, but he knows what he's doing. You schedule a call, schedule a one-on-one, schedule a Zoom call, and we'll talk about it. Okay, but here's the thing, folks. Knowing how to conduct, hopefully you can see these slides. Knowing how to conduct these deals, it allows you to be consultative, right? It's going to improve your closing ratio with the sellers, and 99% of deals are going to fall into one of those deal types over here that I showed you the last week, right? I think that's still up in both Facebook and YouTube. You just got to ask the right questions and plug the sellers into the right outlet, and by doing that, your deal flow is going to be better, and your deal flow is directly proportional to what I just said, your character and your competency. So we ask questions and we truly help the seller accomplish what it is that they want to accomplish. Now, I called this Daddy's favorite deal, right? So what I want to share with you is what I found to be the most profitable deals that I've done are these kinds of deals. And we're coming into an era, if you will, because it's going to last for a bit. Not that I'm clairvoyant or a fortune teller or know what the future holds as far as the housing market. A lot of cross currents there, difficult to tell. But all the setup is just perfect for this right now, to where we're going to be able to come in and get houses in this fashion, where somebody has bought a house, they put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10% down on a house, even 20% down on a mortgage on it. They probably got that mortgage at 2, 3, 4%, 5%. And something changed in their life. Doesn't mean that they have to be distressed. It could be distressed. It could be a divorce. It could be a job loss. It could be all kinds of things. It could be that they're not distressed at all. They just need to move to another place. They can't pay this house and the new place for the new job that they're moving to. But they can't sell the house now because the mortgage rates have gone up so much that ain't nobody trying to buy that house at that inflated price. But they don't want to make the payments on it anymore, and they don't have enough equity to pay the realtor, to pay the closing costs, to pay the taxes, to pay the prorations, to pay inspection concessions, and all the things that nickel and dime a seller, particularly a seller who only put 1, 2, 3, a few percent down, they ain't going to have much equity. What if the market goes down 5%? It's not much, right? What if it goes down 10, 15, 20? What if it does with 2008, goes down 50, 60% in certain markets? Then what? Okay, these folks need people to take over payments. Now, a lot of times people will be like, well, why would anyone do that? Well, look, are there foreclosures in just about every market? Yeah, well, why? Because they couldn't make the payments. Had they been introduced to us, we could have helped them. That's why it's your job to apprise people that they don't have to ruin their credit and let houses to go to foreclosure and deal with the aftermath of that kind of a tragedy. We can take over these payments. Their name does stay on the loan. We'll own the house. They don't have any equity in it anyway. Even if they sold with the realtor, they weren't getting any money. So what the hell difference does it make? We'll be improving their credit all along the way. And at some point down the line, we'll have this thing paid off. You're galloping in on a white horse on these deals. And when you do, the profit is massive. Okay. Looking at the slide, when sellers have very little or negative equity, they sell the house. They're not going to get any, if they have to, they're not going to get any money, any cash out of it after the lender, the lender's like 97% loan to value. After the realtor wants 6 points. Not enough money for them. After the lien holders have been paid, there's no cut left for the seller. So they just want the debt relief. And as a result of that, we can take over their monthly payments immediately instead of paying the whole thing off for them, which can take time and money and may never happen, right? So it avoids a potential situation for that seller. All right, now let's just take a look here. I see I can blow this up a little bit, can't I? Let me see. Yeah, that's a little better. I hope you guys were seeing this in full screen mode. Usually the seller has to have less than 15% equity in order for you to just get a pure subject to the existing mortgage deal. Sub 2 deals has become the popular terminology for it, although it's always been called that. But taking over these payments, usually there's very little equity, right? At the same time, you can still have a house with equity, take over the underlying loan, and then structure payments for their equity. But where we just do a pure sub 2 deal, there's usually less than 15% equity. Now, some of y'all realtors, some of y'all attorneys on here seem to think, I'm not so sure you can do that. Well, you can. Okay. It is true that, and I won't talk in length about it. There's a due on sale clause on these mortgages. So when the seller transfers the deed to us, and that's recorded, and we change the insurance and whatnot, what you need to do, the lender is probably going to find out that the deed transferred. Well, when the deed transfers in every one of these mortgages since the 80s, the bank has the right to call the loan due. because now they got someone owning the house who isn't the borrower. Well, they might do that, but it's extremely rare, because banks want loans that are performing. They don't want houses. They want loans that are performing. So people will say, oh, you're violating the due on sale clause. That breaches the the note that the seller signed. Well, what it does is it gives the bank the right to do things that they may or may not do. Look, I live in Vegas. I go to the buffet. I don't get every single thing they have at the buffet. I have the option to get everything at the buffet. You think banks don't put a buffet of options in their mortgage contracts? Hell yeah, they do. Doesn't mean they do everything in there. If they're getting paid, they're good most of the time. Okay, so that's one thing. Also, you can go look this up and just see that on the old housing urban development form, because we just use settlement statements now, but it even had on line 503 pre-printed on the form loans taken subject to. Okay, this is a very common practice, folks. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. If they tell you can't do it, ask for the statute that says you can't. And if you get that, send it to me. I'll send you a Ruth's Chris gift certificate, because I'm going to keep that Ruth's Chris gift certificate. You ain't getting it, because you ain't going to find a statute that says you can't do it, because you can. Okay, so don't let the dream stealers, so to speak, steal your thunder. Okay, these are houses that are move-in ready. These are houses that sometimes need a little bit of minor cosmetic repair. There's things that I teach at a more granular level that we do to help the seller out with their debt to income ratio, since the debt does stay in their name and it makes it more difficult for them to get credit for future purchases. But we'll often combine a sub-2 deal with a seller financing deal, in the sense that they maybe it's a $400,000 house, they owe $200 to the bank, and they got $200 of equity. Well, we can structure something on the $200 of equity for them, and we can take over the underlying loan sub-2. So there's lots of ways to do this. You need to learn the nuances of this. Okay, we'll often use wraparound mortgages when appropriate, so that the seller has recourse should we turn out to be a bad guy and not pay or something like that, right? See, if you take property sub-2 without doing that, like it's being taught by some out here, you do put the seller in a little bit of a risky situation, because they're out of it now. They don't have a note from us. Their name is on the note with the bank. They're liable for the note and mortgage, but we're not liable to them. They gave us the house, and we need to ethically pay the bank. But if we didn't, well, we've got title of the house and the seller's just screwed. So I don't believe in just taking properties totally sub-2 unless the seller is deceased, which does happen, right? People inherit properties that are underwater or don't have a lot of equity. Well, if the person on the loan is deceased, I'm not really that worried about if their credit gets messed up. I'm still going to pay the bank loan, but I'm not going to worry about their debt to income ratio, right? So there's situations, you just can't learn this stuff from just YouTube, from my Facebook group or others. You need, and it doesn't have to be me, but you need somebody who's going to handhold you through these deals and help you all out. Okay, trust me on that. It's really important. Here's what happens, guys. We have situations sometimes where the seller does want some of their equity, even though we don't really want to give it to them, and they won't sell it unless we give them something at close, because they got to move or something like that, or they don't want to give us the deed until the loan has been paid off. So maybe we lease it and we get an option to buy it for the mortgage balance at the time of close, something along those lines. Maybe they want the whole thing paid off within a certain time frame that we don't really like. Maybe they want a little bit of juice on top of the monthly payment that they're paying to the bank. There's things that can happen where the deal is a little bit less attractive to us. And in those cases, we will agree to their terms, but we'll get a longer escrow period. Why? Because I don't want to close on it right away and go at risk that those terms that I gave them are too juicy to where I can't sell it and now I'm at risk. So I give myself enough time to close, and then I'll go out and find my buyer. And when my buyer appears, if I have spreads between what my buyer is going to pay me and what I have to pay the seller, then I make those profit centers, right? Or maybe I don't, but I can renegotiate with the seller when I have a bird in the hand. So, 90-day closes effectively accomplish that. And it basically means what I'm showing in the slide here. If we can't get a good enough mix, because it's always a mix, right, of the price, the monthly payment amount, long enough duration, low enough to zero down, then we can always just take the best terms that the seller will give us, 90 days to close, and then try to locate our buyer within that 90 days. And if and when we do that, we'll simultaneously close and make those spreads, right? The chunk of money coming in needs to be bigger than the chunk of money going out most of the time. Ron LeGrand, one of my mentors, one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, in my opinion, talked about chunka theory. The chunk of money has to be bigger than the chunk of money going out on the monthly payment. The chunk of down payment has to be bigger than the chunk of down payment going out to the seller. The chunk of time you get from the seller has to be bigger than the chunk of time you're giving the buyer. And the chunk of price should be less to the seller than the chunk of price we have coming from our buyer. Chunka theory, right? That's what I mean by spreads. Okay. Look, we're going to go in great detail on why I think you should get a real estate license. If you approach every seller, and I just said you're not going to get 30% of the deals most of the time. That means 70% of those deals, actually more than that, are going to end up listed with a realtor. Some schmendrick, some shalamazel, not to hate on realtors, but there's some people who will call behind you who aren't as sophisticated as you, who will go ahead and get a listing on that $500,000 house, and they're going to put 15 grand in their pocket probably on it. And that's your 15 grand if you just go get the license, because you already had them on the phone, you already developed a rapport with them, you already showed them your character, you already showed them your competency. And but if you didn't present the idea of listing it to them, then they're gonna end up doing that with somebody who comes in behind you, and that money's going to the wrong bank account, in my opinion. So that's why I'm going to talk you guys through this a little bit more. Okay. All right. Now, let me just give you, oops, I'm going the wrong way with these here. 30,000 foot view. Y'all can focus. I'm probably just going to go slightly long tonight, if you don't mind. A little bit more, maybe 10, 15 minutes more, if y'all can hang. If not, come back, check out the recording. But I know East Coast time, it's late. So let me get to the point. 30,000 foot view. You can focus on junkers, right? Trashy houses. A lot of investors are tempted by that simple strategy. Go ahead, buy at a huge discount, sell for more. These deals, they're found every day throughout America, aren't they? They often require the investor, though, to line up funding, make renovations. Or if you're going to sign the contract, you're just going to get one payday. Even if you're going to rehab it, you're only going to get one payday. It'll be a little bigger one, but you only get one payday. The reason I like the kinds of deals that I talked about, thinking about chunka theory, is I have multiple paydays. Sometimes I have multiple buyers because my buyer might not actually cash me out, and I can do the same thing again, where I get a down payment from a second buyer, or a third, or a fourth, or a fifth. And I'm going to show you, some deals like that. Although we won't have time to do that tonight, but I'll show you some deals like that in subsequent weeks. So I call these gems, right? In contrast, when a seller is willing to take a monthly payment for a period of time so that they can get a full price, then the investor needs very little, if any, capital to acquire control or ownership of the house. Further, the houses are move-in ready, close to it, and best of all, there's multiple paydays that are created with the same house. You get a down payment that's bigger than what you give the seller. You get a monthly payment that's bigger than you give the seller or the bank. You make that spread, right? And then there's a price spread, the difference between what you're selling it for and what you're buying it for. And then I call it a duration spread, because oftentimes the people that we put in these houses end up moving out, and we get to do the whole thing again, grab another down payment, another, usually a non-refundable option fee is what we're getting, right? And you can do multiple buyers over time. That's the duration spread on the same house. That's why you can make what I'm going to show you, $250,000 on a $250,000 house over a few years. It's ridiculous. Instead of wholesaling something for 5, 10, 15, 20 grand, right? Signing a contract. So the results we want are, we're going to use these strategies, and we're going to conduct deals and transactions with sellers. It's going to enable us to make just giant chunks of upfront cash on both the junkers, the gems. The gems provide us with layers of relatively passive income that can produce really massive gains of equity buildup, appreciation, depreciation, and monthly cash flow. Okay, now what I'd like to do is, how do I go back? I'll show you this example when we jump on the next live on Thursday. Okay, but this is why this is so profitable. We're focusing on houses that people actually want to live in. They're not junkers, right? They look like this. They're nice houses. Exponentially more buyers that can't qualify for a loan right now, but who want to live the American dream, who want to be a homeowner ahead of having the actual qualifications to get the bank loan. We help them with those qualifications so they can get through underwriting and get the bank loan, but they want to move into that school district now. And they have the money to do it. Maybe they have an issue on their credit that needs to be fixed. There's at least 20 times more of these buyers than bank qualified buyers. But there's a tremendous lack of supply of houses that can be bought on terms. That's where we come in. We fill the gap between all these buyers and not enough houses to meet that demand. That's why we can make a fortune on this. But we got to learn the skills. The skills are taking over existing loan payments on people who need us to do that, creating new payment structures with the seller for their equity where they get a lot more money because it's not dialed back by realtor commissions, inspection concessions, price discounts, prorations, and all the things that dial down their equity, or a combination of the above where we're taking over debt and financing some of the seller's equity. Or we don't do any of that and we just lease the home from the seller for a period of time and we get an option to buy it during the term of the lease and then sell it to one of these people on a sublease with an option to buy while we're getting them qualified for the loan. Look, folks, it's our role to ask questions and learn what the seller's willing to do and not willing to do, and then place them in the method that they choose. And by doing that, you'll get houses like this, a real life example where, I don't know, do I have the profit in here somewhere? The profit on this was over $250,000, and I'll break that down for you when we get back at that next week. Let me remove these slides for a second here. So look, give me a few minutes here to just cover a few things with you, okay? This training's free, right? But I just want to ask you, is it actually free? I mean, all y'all are in the group. You're not in the coaching and mentoring. I mean, there are people who are in the coaching and mentoring, but most of you on the Facebook Live or watching the replay, you're not in the coaching and mentoring program. So you may think you're getting all this excellent info for free, but are you? Are you? What I mean is, yeah, you're not paying me, but you are paying. You're paying life. You're paying life, if you will. And you got to ask yourself, how much is life costing you? How much are you paying life every single month because you still haven't, for some reason, acquired the skills that get you the financial results that you crave? Now, when you start to realize that you're losing tens of thousands of dollars a month in revenue because your real estate investment process, it's either non-existent or broken, then you're going to be able to see that it's far less risky for you to do things like take some of your savings, take some of your credit card room, a few thousand of cash, put it into mentoring and coaching. It doesn't have to be me. I don't want this to be a shameless plug for me. I'm just trying to have some real talk with y'all who've been in this Facebook group for a while. Not enough of you got on one-on-one calls with me. I mean, I'm offering to talk to you and try to help you. It will be me, not some salesperson, to try to help you. Okay, but coaching and mentoring can solve your real estate investment problems that you have. You got those problems if you're not doing deals, and you'll be able to get the results that you want and break your tradition of analysis paralysis. Waiting 5 months, 5 years, and when the time is just right to lose yet another $10,000 minimum per month with a broke real estate investment process, or worse, no process at all. Come on now. Look, I wouldn't have been able to become financially independent had I not got these skills. I wasn't born with them. I didn't come out of the womb a real estate investor. I learned these skills. Carlton Sheets, Robert Allen, the great Ron LeGrand, others. Took a little bit of money. Took a little bit of money from me, but then using their guidance, using their help, I've parlayed that into millions, and you can too. Now you can do that today still. You can do it with Ron. He's still around, right? Unfortunately, Carlton Sheets passed away, I think, a year, maybe it was 2 years now ago. Robert Allen's still around. He's written some books recently. I don't know if he's coaching. Ron does. All y'all should get in Ron's Gold Club. If you want help with that, I'll help you with that. Great information in there. I don't even know how much that is a month, but it's not much. But you need more than that. You need coaching. Look, if it was up to me to do this, let me put it this way. If you're not able to help your family, if you're not able to help yourself, if you're not able right now because of financial situation to help your church, if you're not able to buy the cars you want with all the bells, the whistles, the things and the stuff, well, whose responsibility is that? Yours. I hope y'all aren't going to get mad at me for talking so assertive with you, but I'm feeling zesty tonight, folks. I'm feeling spicy. Let me sip my cocktail. It's your responsibility. You're quite literally holding yourself, your family, your church, even the sellers and buyers who need your help. You're holding them hostage from making these problems go bye-bye and getting them what they want and what you want. Because somehow, for some reason, you just haven't gone out and acquired the right skills. You haven't been willing to do that. No offense, but you want these cheap books, free courses, spend $20, $97, $47 on crap that isn't enough to help you get there. That's why I don't even sell that crap. Coaching, and that's it. I'll give you all this stuff for free. Nothing's going to get solved like that, or rarely does it. Maybe 5% of people can take these little tidbits and turn it into millions. I am feeling zesty. I want to ask y'all something on here, okay? Can I ask y'all something? How would I be able to communicate to you, the folks watching me here right now, that you might be holding yourself back without y'all getting mad at me, upset with me, trolling me or anything like that? Y'all can if you want to. But if it's okay, if I get a little medieval here for a minute, go ahead and type in the comments if it's okay. I don't want to really, I know you maybe aren't going to type in the comments, right? But because y'all know I'm going to do it anyway, don't you? I got a personal question for you, okay? I don't want you to get angry at me, but if I could just ask you a personal question without you getting angry, this is what I want to ask. Why? For some reason so far, think about this. Why, for some reason so far, selfishly, have you not been willing to acquire the right skills so you can help sellers and help buyers? They need you, and help you and your family get the results that you want. Why haven't you acquired those skills? I'm not willing to do that for my sellers. I'm not willing to do that for my buyers. I'm not willing to do that for my family or for myself. Question is, are you willing to keep doing that to yours? So look, who wants to change that? Who wants to change that? Who's ready to say, damn it, I got to change this. I'm not willing to accept not having the right skills so that I can make more money, both for me personally, for my family who depends on my livelihood from money, for the charities I want to give to, for the church I want to donate to, and most importantly, really, for your sellers and for your buyers who have problems, who with your solutions, they can quite literally have their problems solved by you with the right skills. So look, if that's you, if you're going to take a stand for yourself, for your family, for your prospects, y'all know how to reach a brother, right? Book a one-on-one, say something in the comments, message me. Let's see if we can get a plan together. You don't got to pay for this call. Let's see if we can get a plan together so you can stop overthinking and get going. Get going so you can stop being a freaking job slave and make the money you want. You know, I know the reason. I'm not that different from you. I know the reason. You're worried about the money and maybe you won't get the results that all of our clients and me get, the stuff we're showing you, right? But let me ask you this, because everybody really does have to ask themselves this at the end of the day here in terms of getting the skills necessary to get what you want in life. Have you ever considered this? Going back to what we said a few minutes ago, how much are you paying life every single month because you still haven't, for some reason, got these skills that get you the financial results that you crave? I mean, I get it. Cost is an important consideration. Expenses are an important consideration. But at the same time, what is not doing anything costing you? How expensive is it to do nothing and lose out on all that revenue that could be coming in if you just invested a little bit and change things? Folks, this isn't some 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 program. Most people make 25 grand on their first deal. I'm not even asking you for 10 grand. You don't have to go to me. You can go to others. Good programs are usually going to be a lot more than that. I have a little bit of a different mojo, which those of you who've talked to me, taking advantage of the time to talk to me on a one-on-one, understand that. But you got to ask yourself, what's more risky? Investing a few measly, pathetic thousands of dollars, a few K, so that you can get the results that you want? Or is it more risky to do nothing? Stay in the status quo, your financial problems stay the same, and then nothing changes in the next year or 2 or 5 or 10. Which is more risky? You tell me. You can tell me all about it on a one-on-one. I'll try to help you. Look, it doesn't affect me really one way or another. I probably have what you want. So if you want to get the advanced skills so that you can build cash flow, long-term wealth, achieve financial independence, time freedom, you know what to do. Doesn't affect me, but it does affect who? I told y'all I was feeling zesty. I love y'all very much. I appreciate y'all very much. Holler at a brother. Have a good evening, everybody, and we'll get on more of these lives, and I'll try to help you either way, okay? Everybody have a great night. Adios. Cheers. We'll catch you on the flip side. See y'all. Appreciate y'all.